I'm so shiny. Okay, I'm just gonna tell another story. This story happened like uh, 2 weeks ago or whatever. Okay, so I had a wax appointment at the European Wax Center, so I hop on the bus. I'm on like the 51. I'm like riding over to the wax appointment, and this boy gets on the bus, right? So he's a student. He's like black. I was like, wow, black students at Berkeley, this is incredible, right? So this student, he's like, I'm like, oh, like what are you studying? And he was like, economics or something. I can't remember what he said. So we like exchanged numbers, and then like after the appointment, I was like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like at home making some. I was making this like potato dish, the sweet potato dish, the one thing I know how to make. So I like make that dish, and then I was like, oh, you can come over and get some if you want. And he's like, oh yeah, for sure, that's fine. So he comes over to get the dish or whatever, and then I like warmed up some like Ethiopian food, and I was like showing it to him. Also, this is mad funny because like I didn't clean my apartment because like I told you guys I never do that. But like he's like there, and my apartment's kind of like super messy, and then he's like he kind of like eats it, and he's like he was eating the injera bread, but like he wasn't really eating any of the other stuff, and I'm like, oh, he probably like hates that my apartment's dirty. Some people are like that, like if your apartment's dirty, like they won't eat anything in your house. I'm actually like that too, so I understand. Anyway, what happens? Okay, so then we were like talking, and I think I was telling him about the community channel, and I was like, because I can't figure out how to like change my setting. I can actually, I just won't do it. I didn't change my settings back in the living room monitor situation. It's a monitor. It's technically a television, but like it's also like a monitor, but like I just won't fix it or whatever to go back to TV settings. So if I want to watch like YouTube, then I've got to do it like in my room. So I'm like, okay, let's just go in my room, and like we're gonna and I'll show you the community channel there. So in my room, all I have is like a bed and then the TV, right? So we're like sitting on my bed and we're like chatting, we're like talking. Oh, also we had walked to Trader Joe's to get like champagne. And then, oh, this is funny too. So then, this is the week that my job, they ended up like transferring the banks or some other weird shit. So like, I didn't even, there was like, and I lost my debit card. So I had no access to like any of my money or like my accounts. So this guy ended up buying like the champagne that we drank, and then I was like, I just cooked like the potatoes or whatever. So we drink the champagne. Um, then we like we're in my bed. We're like watching. No, I think we were watching Ray Donovan. I think we were watching Ray Donovan. Yeah, we're watching Ray Donovan. So then we started talking. Like we started like kissing, and then like other stuff happened, and then and then I drank like my champagne, and then I drank like his champagne, and then oh man, I am such a bad storyteller. So then I was like, oh, you should go buy more champagne. And he's like, no, I don't want to buy like more champagne. And I guess he was complaining because he was like, oh my god, I have blue balls. And I was like, what? And then he's like, oh, like, he was like, oh, I have blue balls. I'm like, how can I help you or whatever, right? And I was like, why don't you help me go buy more champagne? And he's like, no, I don't want to buy more champagne. And I'm like, yeah, just go buy more champagne. And he's like, no, I'm not like walking all the way to go get more champagne. And I'm like, yeah, do it. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And I was like, oh, guys are the worst, right? And then other stuff happened. We're not going to talk about that because I'm not that explicit. But yeah, so then like, you're awful, Olivia. So yeah, no, this seriously happened. And so then he was like, I'm not getting you more champagne. And then I was like, oh, whatever. And then so he like leaves, and then but it was like before he left, he's like, you can't ask for champagne when someone has like blue balls, because then like we got into this whole philosophical conversation about like prostitution. He's like, if you ask for champagne and I'm asking for help with blue balls, then that's like prostitution. And I was like, what? Like, okay, prostitutes sell pussy for money. Like, I don't, first of all, like, I don't sell pussy for money. I don't sleep with, I barely sleep with actually anyone. And like, that's not, it's like not the same thing. But also, like, what is weird about like, okay, I saw this conversation happening on As Told by Kenya's channel, where she was basically saying, she was like, yo, there's a whole conversations on Twitter about $200 dates. So some people are going, some dudes are taking women out and they're spending $200 on a date. And so they're basically saying, if I'm spending $200 on a date, she better put out, right? And then Kenya was talking about like, that is predatory and that is like a form of like, that starts the conversation around like rape culture. Because like, yeah, that's true. You can't really just expect someone to put out just because you spend $200 on a date. But also I feel like, and I don't know, maybe it's just like I am just that type of person. Like, I know pretty much instantly like who I want to sleep with and like who I don't. And there's no amount of like dating or money that would like change that. So, and I feel like honestly most women are like that, but some people are in the game of like marriage politics and purity politics where they like pretend like they are like all chaste so that like they will attract a certain person who like has a belief that they are chaste because they don't like know their history. That's a whole thing. That's like there's whole books about this, like marriage markets, which you can read if you're interested in. Like, I personally don't play any of those games. Like, I think I am like just like a fairly attractive person, and like, you know, it's just not that hard for me to find like other attractive people to sleep with if I want to. I will say though, it is hard for me to like stay in a relationship, in like a committed relationship, because honestly I just feel like I'm a lot more accomplished than some guys, and so it's just kind of like, well, you're not really on my level. Like, I'm more ambitious than you, so like there's not a match there. But you are really cute and you're really nice, or even like the sex is good or something. So I'll just tell that story. Maybe there's a way better way to tell it. Like I said, I'm not the best storyteller, but that happened.